is coming out of that game. For instance, I mentioned it a few different times. Jeremiah Smith is going to get a massive offer immediately after this season's over. That's what the NIL is. That actually led to Coach Saban saying, to your point about that, we need some sort of, we shouldn't be saying that Jeremiah Smith might be gone from Ohio State immediately after this national championship, because the way the world is, it's like, well, there is a chance. And allegedly, Jeremiah Smith has been offered $4.5 million. Carnell Tate, the other wide receiver alongside Ibuka and J.J. Smith, $1 million plus offer in the transfer portal. We don't know what's real and what isn't real in these reportings. Remember, North Carolina allegedly offered Quinn Ewers $8 million or something. Michael Lombardi said, that didn't come from me. I don't know who that. We like Quinn Ewers, but we're not spending $8 million on a quarterback, especially if he's never done anything here. There is every team in college ball that would try to get Jeremiah Smith on their team. So I assume Ohio State's going to have to deal with that. And will they just have to up their roster, up their salary cap? And is Jeremiah Smith the guy that says, I don't even want to hear it? I'm cool with what I'm doing right here. I know I'm on a trajectory to get to the NFL.
Luckily, Ohio State feels like that's not a place that wide receivers normally leave. With that Heartline, with Ryan Day, with Chip Kelly now, with how well Jeremiah Smith performed in that offense just as a freshman, you would hope that he would realize that and not be antagonized away. Carnell Tate, I have seen a bunch of stuff about if he will or not, but also being the number 2 to Jeremiah Smith in Ohio State offense, just like a McAfee was to Jeremiah Smith, and then Marvin Williams Jr. Last year. Like, that's not a bad spot either. You would hope these guys realize this, but no, like Saban said, this shouldn't. Like, this sucks. Like that is a thing that Ohio State's like. I guess they earned it, but Ohio State should have the money to keep their guys.
Yeah, and we talked about them having the money at the beginning of the season. They're not the only ones. There's a lot of teams that have a lot of money. And all you need is one donor, one booster to be like, I want Jeremiah Smith on our team. Mm-hmm. How much money are you willing to pay? $10 million? I don't know. What does he want? What do we need to get him here? Because he's a game changer. And by the way, he is. And I hope you get all the money you deserve, Jeremiah, because of how great you are, how humble you are, your work ethic, and what you do on a football field. He changes the math. We were on the field watching it. Even against Texas, he did not play great, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did not play great.
Didn't have a bunch of production.
He had 1 catch for 3 receptions. Well, he had a safety, linebacker, and a corner over top of him. That opens up everything else for maybe Judkins, Henderson, Tate, and Ibuka, to your point in there. Mm-hmm. He's a game changer. He's a math changer. And Chip Kelly was just starting to cook with him with 1 year. Hopefully it all gets figured out. AJ, you guys over there in Columbus have a little bit of an issue, bub. Jeremiah Smith getting offered big money. Carnell Tate getting offered big money. Knowles, your defense coordinator, we talked about it during the break. We didn't talk about it whenever it was announced that Al Golden is going back to the Cincinnati Bengals and leaving Notre Dame. He's allegedly, potentially, going to go back to Oklahoma. That has a defense coordinator position open because that's where his family's from. That's where his wife's family's from. How do you feel about the Ohio State Buckeyes, and how quickly do they have to focus on next year's roster, and is that already happening over there?
I am sure it has already happened. I'm sure it was already thought about before they even won the national championship. Like, hey, if things work out the way we want to, like, people will absolutely try to come pluck some of our talent. So, yeah, I mean, you're a product of your own success, I guess, and that's the modern day college football, at least right now. You got to recruit your own roster, and it's crazy to think, yeah, a guy can be there 1 year, another team can entice him with a crazy amount of money, and they can just take off, and your best player can all of a sudden transfer. That could happen, but I don't see it happening in this case with Jeremiah Smith and Tate and everyone. But yeah, it's a real thing. I don't know what coaches are supposed to do.
Hashtag journalism. I'd mentioned this a couple weeks ago about being a possibility, because this is the reality of current college ball. Jeremiah, we got good. We don't have $4.5 million for West Virginia, but we got good facility.
Sure.
Gino went there. Your cousin obviously can uphold the incredible tradition of Smith family members dominating in Morgantown. But there's schools that have a lot. I mean, there's billionaires back in a lot of places. Could you imagine Michigan?
Oh my God, the world would explode.
Larry Ellison, who we know is he's chatty.
Yeah, he's bringing it.
He's doing a lot of chatting about things right now. We're $200 billion. He allegedly the reason why quarterback 1 goes up to Michigan. He gets together, puts the money out there. Could you imagine Michigan offers Jeremiah Smith $5 million a year, $10 million a year, just because? Just because. I mean
why wouldn't they? If they had it, why wouldn't you at least offer it and see, take a shot?
That's the current world we live in. I'm not just Jeremiah Smith of Ohio State. That's everywhere at college ball. And now, does that change as we go forward? We hope there's some sort of regulations, but this is reality of the situation.
Well, that's what's crazy about Jeremiah is that when Quinn Ewers $8 million came out, it was like, okay, no way he's getting $8 million to go up there for a year. Like with Jeremiah, it's almost as if 4.5 isn't enough because of how damn good he is. Now, I'm not saying that's like a not a lot of money. It's a shit ton of money, especially for 2 years of football. But he's that good where if it came out like a school offered him $8 million to go play, it wouldn't be that surprising because of what a stud he is.
And then he could be a free agent again after next season?
Yeah.
I think so.
Is that how this works?
I think so.
Can you transfer as much as you want now, or did they change that?
I don't know, because it used to be you couldn't transfer until you're a graduate, and if you did transfer, you had to sit out a year, and then it became no rules because you're holding back people's money that they can make, which I think goes into an employment violation, so you can't hold them back for a year. So I think you can't. I think it's free agency every year, I think.
Essentially, yeah, as long as you meet academic requirements, you can.
Great for players in business. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great for
Think how hard it would be if you're a coach like at a, I don't know, like a mid-major, or say you're like middle of the pack in whatever conference you're in, and you have a young quarterback comes in, he plays like out of his mind, does much better than you expected. That dude is gone for sure.